We got some more Ashes of Outlands cards, so let's go ahead and look at them. We got Kelidan, the Destroyer, is 6 mana, 3/3 Warlock, legendary with the battlecry, destroy a minion. If you draw it this turn, destroy all other minions instead. I think this is a rough translation, but essentially, if you've drawn Kelidan, the turn that you play him, it'll destroy all other minions aside from himself. So let's look at it before that effect. It's a 6 mana, 3/3 body that'll destroy a minion. Very similar to Siphon Soul. Aside from Siphon Soul, you can't target evasive minions. So this can hit evasive minions because it's similar to like SI7 agent or something, right? Where you could target an evasive minion. So a Siphon Soul that also hits evasive, that gives you a 3/3 body instead of healing you 3. Not bad because it does have that upside of if you draw it that turn, it can destroy all minions. So actually drawing it and playing it, kind of difficult to top deck in the right situation, although I'm sure it's going to happen. It's going to make some great moments with that. But Warlock's pretty good at drawing things, right? Maybe Solarium can draw this if you're digging for you know, the perfect clear, you're in a tough situation. Or Plot Twist, or even crazier, Solarium, Plot Twist, and then this, maybe on turn 9, you can clear the board. Kind of a more expensive Twisting Nether at that point. Or maybe you can just see it as a third Twisting Nether, I guess. That also puts a body on the board. So, Plot Twist in this, pretty cool. Solarium in this, pretty cool. Solarium Plot Twist in this, pretty cool. You're probably going to get that full effect. So I like this card quite a bit. It is not going to see play in Zoo or anything like that, which is one of the main Warlock archetypes, but maybe, yeah, again, like a Plot Twist, maybe Quest Warlock becomes more of a thing this expansion. The Quest Warlock right now is actually not terrible. It's pretty bad, but maybe it gets strengthened by this card and maybe other Warlock cards as we start seeing more and more of them. Where are the other cards, man? All right, we got the Scrapyard Colossus, a 10 mana 7/7 elemental neutral. Taunt, Death Rattle, summon a 7/7 Colossus with taunt. So you have a 7/7 with taunt, it dies, you have another 7/7 with taunt. I don't think you actually run this in any competitive deck. It doesn't look like a bad arena card to me, but kind of just a bad card because it's so expensive. I'd rather have a 10 mana 14/14, I think, than a 10 mana 7/7 followed up by a 10 mana 7/7. But I don't really like either of those, honestly. They're just really slow. It is an elemental, and I don't know if the Colossus that comes out of this is also an elemental. It probably is. So maybe there's some sort of elemental synergy with that I'm not thinking about. But yeah, this seems pretty bad in my opinion. It is something that you can now evolve into, another 10-drop taunt, which I think is actually a big deal. Evolving into 10-drop taunts is something that's really difficult. So, you know, you had Living Monument. Is there another 10-drop taunt that I'm not thinking about? So maybe, you know, you can now do what is it, Conjurer's Calling? You can Conjurer's Calling a 10-drop and possibly hit this, which would be fantastic. Actually, that would be so good. Oh, actually pulling this. Oh, you know what? You know what? I like this in a Colossus Warrior, big sort of Colossus Warrior. Although I don't know if that, you know, that's never actually a thing. So, but yeah, it doesn't seem that great. I don't think it's going to see too much play. But evolving into it or getting it randomly is not too bad at all. We got Ironbark here, a Druid spell, 2 mana, give a minion 1/3 and taunt. Cost 0 if you have at least 7 mana crystals. So I think that means you're just at 7 mana. You don't have to have 7 unused mana crystals. They don't have to be unspent, right? So it becomes a great cycle card, or if you want to use it with Kael'thas, this becomes a great way to trigger your Kael'thas. I don't really like this card, though. It just seems kind of mediocre. It's just not good. Unless there is some sort of miracle druid that comes back into the meta, then I can see it happening. But it just doesn't seem that great. And you don't, it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. 1/3 and taunt, I mean, it's decent stats. Blessing of Kings, 4 mana, 4/4. This half the cost, half the stats, but you do get taunt, and then it could also be free at 7 mana crystals. But I don't see what situation you would actually want to use Iron Bark in. Maybe if your hand is just going to be too big and you're using, is it Overflow? I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't like Iron Bark. We got Fel Summoner, 6 mana, 8/3 Demon Hunter card here with the Death Rattle. Summon a random demon from your hand. Okay, Demon Hunter. That big demon build is looking more and more likely as we see these cards get revealed. I really don't like the stat line here. 6 mana, 8/3. Summoning a random demon from your hand is not as good as summoning a random demon from your deck. Generally, this is often just going to be held in your hand. Although maybe if it's just big demon and you have this card, yeah, maybe you just throw it out there and then you have something massive in your hand. Oh, like the guy who he's like Batterhead. He's a 5/10. Okay, so maybe putting this down, it dies, it pulls the 5/10. The 5/10 has rush. It can hit things. Your opponent's a little bit scared to remove this thing because it's going to summon a big demon. But at the same time, they're scared to not remove this thing because it has a lot of attack. So, okay, you know what? Fel Summoner is not too terrible, I think, in a proper build. But it's definitely got to be a big Demon Hunter deck. And I still don't think we've seen enough big demons to warrant the Demon Hunter deck, big Demon Hunter deck. So, well, we've seen 2 different big demons, I think, maybe 3. So it's only 6 copies. I think you probably want at least like 8+ copies of big demons before considering running this guy, which might be a thing. And then at 8 big demons, like that's a lot of big demons actually. And then you're just gonna have them sitting in your hand doing not too much. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think we need to see the rest of the set before making a judgment on Fel Summoner. Oh my God, here's another great big demon. A 7 mana, 6/7. Priestess of Fury. At the end of your turn, deals 6 damage, randomly split among all enemies. Oh my God. At the summit, this card was busted, dude. Oh, this is so good. Yeah, this is such a good card. It's, okay, Avenging Wrath. Decent card, right? You spend 6 mana. It does 8 damage randomly split among all enemies. Sometimes you still use Avenging Wrath, but you know why you don't really use it that much is because you don't get a body attached to it. This gets a 6/7 body attached to it, and it's an end of turn effect. So if your opponent doesn't deal with this, it's going to cast it again, right? So this is 75% of an Avenging Wrath for 1 more mana, but you get a 6/7 body, and it'll cast every single turn. So your opponent is forced to deal with this. This is actually great, even with Fel Summoner. Okay, I think it's tying together here. The big demon hunter is gonna look pretty sick with the Fel Summoner, 2 Priestess of Fury, the batter guy, and I think what was the other one? There was another big demon. It was like 9 mana, and he summoned a demon from your deck at the end of the turn or something like that. Yeah, this looks solid, and a Priestess of Fury. I think this is actually maybe like a 5 out of 5 card. It's so frustrating to play against, so fun to play. Replicatotron, a 4 mana 3/3 neutral mech. This looks like a Paladin card to me, right? Because I don't know, they could buff all their cards. Sorry, at the end of your turn, it's gonna transform a neighbor into a copy of this. I didn't say that part, but yeah. So you buff this up. You can magnetize on top of it, make it super big. Hit it with a Blessing of Kings. Hit it with whatever else Paladin has for buffs, which is a lot of things. And then this is going to transform a neighbor into a copy of it. So let's say 10 mana. You have 10 mana. You're Paladin. You play this. You Blessing of Kings it. And you press the button. You make a Silverhand Recruit. Now you're going to have 2 7/7s. That's not great, right? It's not fantastic. But then, you know, that's one example. Maybe you hit it with more buffs, or maybe it goes in a different class that I'm not thinking of right now, and then you just buff it like mad, and it's gonna transform the neighbor into a copy of it, and then you could do it again the next turn, and again the next turn, and the next turn, right? Assuming this thing doesn't die, but it will die. It will be a high priority target, but. Yeah, and then if you magnetize it, Ziliax is going to be dead, thank goodness, because that would be insane with this. But yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I think you do have to look at what mechs are going to be gone, because Boomsday Project is leaving. and there are a lot of strong mechs there. So maybe this won't be as crazy as I'm thinking. In wild though, it'd be pretty wild, for lack of a better word. Okay, let's look at these Paladin cards. This new mechanic that has been announced or revealed for Paladin is the librams. Let's look at Aldor Tenant first. A 2-mana 2/3 battlecry reduced the cost of librams by 1 this game. The entire game, they're reduced by 1. So if they used to be 10 mana, they're now 9 mana for the entire game. You just had to play that card once, right? That's pretty insane. And then we have the Aldor Truthseeker, a 5-mana 4/6 taunt and battle cry, reduced cost of librams by 2 this game. 5-mana 4/6 taunt, not terrible, but that reduction of the cost of librams, assuming you're going to be running those if you're playing this card, and they don't have to be in your hand. They don't have to be in the deck. They can be in either your hand or the deck, right? So this is so good. And let's look at the librams real quick. We got Libram of Justice, a 6-mana spell here where you equip a 1/4 weapon. You change the health of all enemy minions to 1. So it's like Equality, which is now 4 mana. But it also equips you a 1/4 weapon, which is Light's Justice, which is valued at maybe 1 mana, which is not that good. But you think of reducing this, you could play 2 Aldor Truthseekers, which reduces it by 4, so it's only 2 mana at this point. And then you can also play the other Aldor guy, which reduced it by 2 more. That means this would be free. This would be 0 mana. So at 6 mana, this is not great. At 5 mana, you're kind of getting decent value just because Equality is 4 mana, Light's Justice is a 1/4 weapon, and you're getting both of those slammed into 1 card. But you generally, I wouldn't want to spend more than 4 mana on this because the weapon is really just, it's trivial. It's not, you don't want that weapon. But yeah, at 3 mana and less, this thing becomes pretty insane in my opinion. So if you played 1 Truthseeker and one of the other guys, gonna get some great value. 2 Truthseekers, this thing at 2 mana and less is just absolutely insane. We got Libram of Hope, 9 mana, restore 8 health, summon an 8/8 Guardian with Taunt and Divine Shield. Okay, this is actually really good and pretty decent even at 9 mana. Restoring 8 health, similar to Lay on Hands, which doesn't really see any play because it's too slow, but you get an 8/8 Taunt and Divine Shield minion. Like that's pretty dang insane. At 8 mana, I feel like this is just, it's almost like a staple, almost. You spend 3 mana, you restore 8 health, you get an 8/8 Divine Shield with Taunt. You spend 3 mana on this. You play Lady Liadrin, and you get it back in your hand. And you can get 2 of these back in your hand, playing a total of 4 of these in 1 game. So it seems like Paladin's really going to be able to grind out that value if they want to, which makes this quite exciting. And then if you know, oh, it's a bit of an aggro-y game, maybe you don't need to grind out all that value. So you get to change your playstyle depending on the matchup, which I really like. We have the Libram of Wisdom. I think this one's the least exciting of the 3. I don't know if they said there's going to be any more Librams, but 2 mana, give a minion +1/+1 and Death Rattle, add a Libram of Wisdom spell to your hand. So this is it's pretty bad. I don't really like it. I don't like it. And then with Liadrin, I feel like it can maybe get your hand polluted a little bit. What, you put this on a minion, it dies. You put it on another minion, it dies. You just keep casting it. You've cast like 4 of these, and you've cast 3 of the Librams of Hope. So, sorry, you've cast 2 Librams of Hope. You've cast like 4 of these. You play Lady Liadrin. You're going to get them all back in your hand. I don't know. It's okay. It's all right. You just don't want to cast this too much because then it lowers the value of your Lady of Liadrin. If you've cast like 10 of these, you might not actually get the Librams of Hope. So Libram of Wisdom, not too excited about it. Maybe you run it as a 1-of. I don't even know, man. +1/+1 is really not good. If there are other Librams that are announced, like this might make it a little bit better or something. I don't like this one. I don't. Yeah, it could be 0 mana really easily. 0 mana +1/+1 is okay, but I don't see it getting too much action. What else do we have? We have Hand of Adal, a 2 mana. Give a minion 2/2, draw a card. This is really good. Wait, this is really good. This is half a king's, but you also draw a card. Wow, this is great. Plus, you can get it back from Lady Liadrin. Yeah, I think this is a good card. Yeah, you like this quite a bit. You like Hand of Adal. Nothing too fancy. half a King's, but draw a card. King still sees play because it's super good. Extra Arms was 3 mana, right? They nerfed it to, or they buffed it to 2 mana, and then it was way too good. It was busted, so they got rid of it. 2 mana +2/+2, but similar to Earthen Might, which does see play. Earthen Might gives you a random minion, but this actually draws a card in your deck that you intentionally put in your deck. So kind of a doll. I like it quite a bit. Actually, a really good card. Kind of boring, very plain, not too flavorful. But it's a good card. We got Nagrand Slam, a 10 mana hunter card. Summon 4 3/5 cleft hoofs that attack random enemies. If you discount this out with Kael'thas, maybe pretty cool. But if you don't, I mean, okay, you're getting 1220 worth of stats on the board. The thing is, these are really crappy 3/5s. If you're seeing a board, an aggro board, like, yeah, it might be pretty cool because your cleft hoofs might stick around. But I'd rather just summon, you know, a 12/12 dragon for 8 mana that slaps everything on the board instead of doing this for 10 mana. So yeah, oh my god, wait, this would be nuts with Zul'jin. Is Zul'jin rotating? Okay, so just kidding. But yeah, Nagrand Slam, not great. Not a big fan. Unless someone changes my mind. With Kael'thas, there's not going to be like a big spell hunter, I don't think, right? With the cards that we've seen so far. So not too hyped about it. But with Kael'thas, could be fun. A big spell hunter. Maybe it'll be seeing play in Wild. I don't think it's even good enough for Wild. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of a crap card, I think. A filler. Unfortunately, it's also an epic, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, you should hit the like button. Good luck on ladder. Stay hydrated.